Ladies and gentlemen, on this channel we believe in a very primitive concept. Me, I give you money. You give me a video game. Very simple. And it had me thinking, what's the most expensive Nintendo console? So in this video we're going to go over the most expensive and rare Nintendo consoles of all time. Let's just go ahead and get right into it. Yeah, I've always wondered this question, and today I have an answer for it. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe. We're getting very close to 8,000 subscribers. Once I hit 8K, I will be giving away a Switch game to show my gratitude to you people. And I actually have that Switch game right here. You can hear it. It's sealed. Let me cover it up. But yeah, a sealed Switch game that I will be giving away once we hit 8,000. So like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. And let's just go ahead and get right into this video. So I searched this up and I found an article that is answering all the questions. So before we get into this article and look at the most expensive and rare Nintendo consoles, I'm going to try to guess one, and the only one that I think would be on this list is that solid gold, I believe a Nintendo Wii they made for the Queen, which is such a crazy concept. Let's go back like 500 years to when the monarchy was really doing king and queen stuff, and then imagine somebody being like, in the future, they will have an entertainment box and it will be made of gold, Your Majesty. I just don't know what kind of timeline we are actually living in here, but I'm curious to see what else is on this list. I'm gonna say the most expensive one is probably like 100 grand because I believe that's how much the Nintendo Wii one was. Number 13, the Nintendo PlayStation, and we are already getting off to an insane start. Officially, it was known as a SNES CD. The Nintendo PlayStation is so rare that only one exists officially, and it was purchased at over $300,000 at an online auction in 2020. So my guess of 100K being the most expensive console is immediately thrown out of the window. I love everything about this. It's so crazy. It makes your brain feel like you're seeing something you shouldn't be seeing. Number 12, MTV's limited edition GameCube consoles. I believe I've seen these somewhere, like it was a contest or something. The MTV GameCube is a system that saw quite a few limited edition versions when it was released. During the MTV's Xmas Daily broadcast in 2003, they gave away one special limited edition MTV GameCube per day. 5 designs were released, blah blah blah, and I guess none of them have popped up on eBay within 16 years. I'm a GameCube fan. It's my favorite console. I think it's the greatest console to ever exist because of how wacky it was, but I miss back in the day when there would be all these like weird collaborations. The Panasonic Q, this is $700. I have seen a couple of these in person before. It's actually pretty cool. I believe you can find these in Japan still. The Panasonic Q is a special hybrid DVD player that was released in Japan in 2001. That was the main issue and pushback on the GameCube, right? You couldn't watch DVDs. You could on the PlayStation 2. The PlayStation 2 was basically a home entertainment console. So a lot of people went directly for that, and I understand why, but if the GameCube could play DVDs, it might have done a little bit better. If it looked like this, I'm not so sure it would have done better. This looks like something that you would see in like Drake and Josh or something, like a fake console from a Nickelodeon show. So you can get this for $700, which isn't too bad relatively speaking. And a Game Boy player accessory can go for around $1,800. Wow, Game Boy Micro Mother 3 console. Mother 3, also known as Earthbound. $2,000. Wow. This was released in 2006 to celebrate the release of the game. The console is incredibly rare. A brand new one in the box can be $2,000 or more, while used versions of the console is closer to $800. Look, I'm a fan of weird, niche, goofy stuff. This is not that good looking of a console, all things considered. Is this the one that I was thinking about right here? Nintendo Wii Supreme? Stuart Hughes is an upscale company that produces a variety of luxury items and is currently listing the Nintendo Wii Supreme for $367,000 US. The console takes 6 months to make. It is a real 22 karat gold and the buttons are actually diamonds, a grand total of 78. So maybe this wasn't for the Queen. Maybe I just read that in like a mock-up article, or maybe I just fell for some clickbait. But I swear I read somewhere that the Queen had a Nintendo Wii. But yeah, all things considered, this is the most expensive it's probably going to get. $367,000. Nintendo DS Animal Crossing Wild World. Priceless. A few different versions of this console with special art that depicted the different seasons in the game on the front were made. So this was only released in Sweden and given away as a contest prize, meaning that it's impossible to put a price on this one-of-a-kind console. If I had to put a price on this, I would say it's worth like $1,500, but probably more. Game Boy Advance SP Pokemon Center Charizard? I didn't even know this existed. The Game Boy Advance has the greatest lineup of games. It's insane. And this was the first time we had the backlight screen. It could fold. You felt like you were truly in the future. I love this. I probably had a total of like 6 SPs when I was younger. This special edition Game Boy Advance was released at Pokemon Centers in Japan to celebrate the release of Pokemon Fire Red. Today, a brand new one can set a Sears collector back up to $1,000, while finding the console in rougher shape out of its original box tends to be cheaper, but not by a lot. I feel like $1,000 in the box for this special edition isn't that bad. Like, I couldn't even imagine spending that much on something. But it seems like that's actually tangible to collectors who would want to obtain something like this. Pocket Pikachu Color, $70? How is this on this list? I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think we would see anything even less than $500 on this entire list. But maybe it's rare, so that's why it's on here. I'm not sure, but we're gonna skip over this. I feel like this shouldn't even be on this list. Nintendo 64 Watermelon Red. You know what's funny is when you look at this color, watermelon is exactly what I would call it, so they hit it on the head. It would be really cool if the bottom shell on the controller and the console were green, so it really looked like a watermelon, and then they could even make all these buttons black and it would look like watermelon seeds. Whoa. Yeah, $260 isn't bad to have something like this. That looks really cool. Hyundai Convoy, and this is $1,000. The Hyundai Convoy has become a sought-after console for the most die-hard Nintendo fans, and it might be the rarest Nintendo 64 console. If you're lucky enough to find a complete Hyundai Convoy, be ready to pay up because they can cost around $1,000. So this is crazy. The Hyundai Convoy is the name of the Nintendo 64 in Korea. That's a crazy fact I didn't even know, so we learned something over here. So it's pretty crazy. When I was little, me and my mom had to go live in a women's shelter for a little bit because we were homeless. I was probably like 7 years old. And in that women's shelter, there was like a basement. And in the basement, they had a couple different consoles, which is really cool for the children. They had a PlayStation 1, and they had a Nintendo 64 and maybe a Sega. And they had the Pokemon version of the Nintendo 64. The one that's like blue and has Pikachu on it. And the people were so nice that when we left that shelter, they gave me that Nintendo 64. Because I would play it every day. I think I played wrestling every single day that we were there. As time went on, I truly have no idea what happened to that console, but that's crazy. That was a repressed memory that I just remembered for some reason looking at this. Pokemon Stadium Nintendo 64 battles at $1,800. Holy shit, I never knew something like this existed. This truly looks insane. Have you ever seen that show Cake Boss where they make like crazy cakes? One time they had a Pokemon episode. This looks like something that they would have on that show. This needs to be in a museum. This is truly insane. This set isn't only a custom color, but was also decorated with specific patterns and figurines in the shape of famous Pokemon. The complete set has other extras too, like a trainer's journal and a handy way to port a player's pocket monsters from their game packs to this Nintendo console. Stuff like this truly makes me just love gaming so much more. It's truly the greatest like collection of arts coming together. Unfortunately, we don't get really weird, wacky stuff like this anymore, but man, this is something to look at and cherish. It's crazy. The Hong Kong Edition Famicom, $230. So the Famicom is the name of Nintendo and Super Nintendo in Japan, but apparently they had one in Hong Kong. The exception to this is the Hong Kong version of the Famicom. This is exactly like the Japanese console, except for the fact that it was created exclusively to be sold in Hong Kong. So I wonder what would be really different about this. Maybe like the power outlets over there are different, and maybe some other stuff, but I'm not really sure. That was number 2. Now we're about to hit number 1. What kind of console do you think it would be? If I had to guess, I would guess a GameCube or a Wii, so we'll see what happens. And apparently I was wrong. Game Boy Advance SP 24-karat Gold Edition. This is priceless. If you find the winning card inside your pack, you will win an exclusive Game Boy Advance SP made with real gold. The Game Boy Advance SP 24 Gold is by far the rarest Nintendo console ever made. It is impossible to put a price on, partially because many people are skeptical of its existence. There was a Nintendo fan that claimed to own one with some photos, but that's it. According to advertisements, around 6 different copies of The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap came with a special ticket. And apparently this is what it looks like. That's pretty crazy. It's gold, so I guess that's all it needs to look like. Apparently it didn't come in any special packaging, which is also crazy, so man, you gotta love gaming, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I have a couple questions for you. 1, what is the most expensive console you own, or the rarest console you own? And 2, what do you think about these consoles on this list? Do you think they're overpriced? Do you think they're underappreciated? Did anything surprise you? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. As always, thank you for joining me. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you could. I'd appreciate a follow on both platforms. We're growing on both, and it's a lot of fun talking to you guys over there. And then at 8,000 subscribers, I'll be giving this game away. I actually have another game to give away digitally as well. So thank you for the support. You guys know me. I'll see you soon with a new video. Peace out.